Hello, it's Patrick. Insert catchphrase here. Welcome to May 2020. Got some great Civ 6 content for you, dealing with tile yields, and in particular tile yields when you build a city. Now, everybody else is yapping and talking and writing stuff, doing things, telling you all these complicated rules about how to figure out what the tile yields are when you build a city. Hey, Patrick's just going to build a city on every type of tile, and you can see the before and after tile yields. So let's get started. First, let's fire up a game. Here we are on a grassland, 2 food, no production. We build the city, and we get 2 food, 1 production. Here we are on a grassland with the floodplains and a bonus resource of rice with 3 foods. We take the settler and build a city. And we've got 3 food and 1 production. Here we have a grassland that has a luxury resource of cotton. This has 2 food, 0 production, 3 gold, and since we haven't built any cities, there are no luxury resources available. If we build a city on this tile here, the yields change to 2 food, 1 production, 3 gold, and we have a luxury resource of cotton, even though we don't have the required technology to produce that luxury resource. Here we are in a grassland woods. Note that this is different than the plains woods. So 2 food, 1 production. Build the city. 2 food, 1 production. We removed the forest, which removed 1 production, but then when we built the city, that added 1 production back. Here we are on a grassland marsh, 3 food, no production. We remove the marsh, we build the city, and we've got 2 food, 1 production. We've got a grassland hills, turn the yields on, 2 food, 1 production. Let's build the city. Two food, 1 production. Here we are on grassland hills with woods, 2 food, 2 production. Let's see what happens when we build the city. 2 food, 1 production. Here we are on a plains, 1 food, 1 production. When I build the city, 2 food, 1 production. So here we are on a plains woods, 1 food, 2 production. Build a city. It will remove the woods tile. And 2 food, 1 production. Here we've got plains rainforest, 2 food, 1 production. When we build the city, we're going to tear down the rainforest, removing the production, but then we're going to get the production back because we have a city on that tile. So we end up with 2 food, 1 production. So here we are. Let's settle on this plains hills. Here we are on the plains hills, 1 food, 2 production. When we build the city, 2 food, 2 production. Here we are on a Plains Hills tiles with bonus resource copper. This Plains Hills tile has the same terrain and terrain features as this Plains Hills tiles, except this tile has the bonus resource copper, as I mentioned. So before the city, we've got 1 food, 2 production, 2 gold. After the city, we've got 2 food, 2 production, 2 gold. Here we are at a Plains Hills with woods. 1 food, 3 production. When we found the city, when we use the settler to found the city, we get 2 food, 2 production. Here we've got Plains Hills with the rainforest, 2 food, 2 production. It's a beautiful sight. I'm going to rotate around and take a look at the rainforest, the mountains, plains, the river, the settler unit, the flood. Beautiful game. So here we are on the Plains Hills rainforest, 2 food, 2 production. When we create the city, when we found the city, we're going to get rid of the rainforest. And we'll end up with 2 food, 2 production. The second production comes from the hills. Here we've got a desert tile. It has no food, no production. When we build the city on it, we end up with 2 food and 1 production. So here we are on a desert oasis. We've got, turning the yields on, 3 food, 1 production. Let's see what happens if we, we can't build a city on a desert oasis. Interesting. Here we are at Desert Hills. Turning on the yields, we've got no food, 1 production. We'll go ahead and found the city. We now have 2 food, 1 production. Here we are on a tundra tile with no bonus resource. The tile yield before founding the city is 1 food, no production. After founding the city, 2 food, 1 production. Here we are on a tundra with a bonus resource deer. To verify we've got no strategic or luxury resources, we'll go ahead and build a city here. The pre-city tile yield is 1 food, 1 production. The after city tile yield is 2 food, 1 production. And we have neither a strategic or luxury resource since the tile had a bonus resource of deer. Here we are on a tundra hills. We've got 1 food, 1 production. When we found the city, we'll get 2 food, 1 production. Here we are on a tundra hills with the bonus resource of sheep, and we're right next to a barbarian encampment. We'll build the city. Our current resources are 2 food, 1 production. And now we've got 2 food, 1 production with a bunch of barbarians in our city. Here we are in a tundra woods. We've got 1 food, 1 production. The 1 production comes from the woods. So when we build the city, we're going to tear down the woods, get rid of that 1 production. On the other hand, the minimum production that a city site has is 1 production. So after we tear down the woods, get rid of the production, when we build the city, we'll create that production back. We'll remove the woods. And 2 food, 1 production. We're here on Tundra Hills with Woods, 1 food, 2 production. We'll found the city, and we get 2 food, 1 production. Here we are on a snow tile, 0 food, 0 production. We'll found the city, and we get 2 food, 1 production. Here we are on Snow Hills. We've got no food, 1 production. We'll found the city, 2 food, 1 production. Here we are on Snow Hills with a bonus resource of copper. No food, 1 production, 2 gold. Founding the city, 2 food, 1 production, 2 gold. Here's a geothermal fissure with 1 food, 2 production, 1 science. I'll go ahead and build the city. And we've got 2 food, 2 production, 1 science. Okay, here we are in Desert Hills. No food, 1 production. You notice it won't allow me to build a city using the settler. That's because if I hit the lens tile and look for settler, I'm in a red area, which means I'm too close to city or blocked by terrain. So even though Desert Hills is a viable place to build a city, I'm too close to Lisbon.